As a criminal defense attorney, there are three key things that I'm going to make sure to teach my kids. So let's get into that here. My name is Veronica. I am a criminal defense attorney here in Los Angeles, and I help people who have been arrested put their criminal cases behind them so that they can enjoy their lives and their freedom. And again, this video is going to be about the three key things that I am planning to teach my children as a criminal defense attorney. This video kind of started out as I think it was I'm trying to do the algorithm thing, and I think that there was a trend about, however many things I would teach my kid as a surgeon, dermatologist, whatever. So it started out as that, but I don't think that this is really worthy of a short because I do have more to say about it, and I would definitely say a little bit more about it to my kids. So let's get right in. Number one is stay away from crazy when dating. Now, I know it's not politically correct to call women crazy, but there was a period of time where I had multiple felony domestic violence cases, sex offense cases, where I really did not believe that my clients were guilty. And to this day, I do not. And I sort of joked at the time that, it was pre-Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial and post-Believe All Women and all of that. And I sort of joked that crazy women were keeping me in business because honestly, it was just almost my entire caseload that was that. But it's not just women. Men can be crazy too. Men can be crazy, men can be violent, men can be victims of crimes. Of course, we can all be on either side of that, as I think we have all seen, especially those of us who did see the Heard Depp trial. But stay away from crazy while dating, because especially here in California, Los Angeles specifically, but in a lot of major metropolitan areas, you get into a screaming fight with someone, that's bad enough. Perhaps someone is arrested because there's a policy in that particular jurisdiction that someone must be arrested for every domestic violence call. But also, people lie. And what you don't want to do is not just give someone motivation to lie. You dump someone, for most people that's not going to be motivation to lie, but for some people it is. I actually had a trial for a felony domestic violence case where my client almost got a felony record, lost his whole livelihood. Luckily, I was able to cross-examine the shit out of her on the witness stand. Is that even a humble brag? Just a brag. But she lost her temper with me too, and the jury saw it. It was awesome. But stay away from crazy. That is not always going to happen. And how much did that client have to pay me? Luckily he got out of that, but it would have been the stress, the money, all of it. Is it really worth it? In that case, I'm sure that client does not think it was. So just, I can't give you a test of here's what's crazy, here's not. And I myself have been guilty of giving people too many chances. But when you see someone go off the rails, and especially when you see someone lie about you or falsely accuse you, or if they falsely accused someone else before, I really would give that, a hard look. And if it's my client, or not my client, if it's my kid and, also my client, but by then it's too late, I would say just stay away from crazy. Just stay away from crazy. Try to find someone normal, level-headed, someone who has morals, who's not just doing whatever the heck they want, someone who's not, I myself can perhaps be, not anymore, but could perhaps delight in revenge. I do like the Reddit petty revenge, but someone who's not trying to get revenge on someone who simply just didn't want to be with them. And people make mistakes in relationships too. If you cheat on someone, does that mean you should have a felony record? I don't think so. So stay away from crazy. That is a big tip here. I have had clients too who I do see that they have a record, but when you look closely at it, I just wonder if it's really that they are necessarily violent, or is it just that they don't learn from their mistakes in relationships. And the thing is that if you get a record for example, domestic violence in California, they can use that against you in the next case. So be very, 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 very careful of this. I mean, you can be convicted based on one person's word alone. So domestic violence is really bad. What if it's a rape allegation? Stay away from crazy. Be very, very careful. I mean, I can't even, I am a woman, I guess. I mean, I don't know if feminist is really the right word, but I'm a female criminal defense attorney. I think I'm at least as capable as any man, but I can't even imagine what it is like being a man right now in, for example, college. I know that being a woman in college can be difficult too, but if it were my son, another thing I would tell him is don't hook up with somebody after you've been drinking. Just don't even do it. It's not worth it. If you are blackout drunk and she is blackout drunk and the two of you have sex, who do you think is going to get charged with rape? Not her. Number 2 is, and I lost it here. I'm sorry. All right, number 2 is going to be, I tried to put these in an order where they'd be somewhat entertaining. All right, number 2 is going to be, yes, fuck the police and all of that, but we are polite to police. You need to be polite to the cops. I would always tell my kids that. You need to be absolutely polite to the cops, no matter how big of douchebags they are, no matter whether they have a Super Trooper's mustache or not, no matter if their grammar is shit, no matter what they are doing, no matter if they're arresting you and you don't feel like you should be arrested, you are polite to cops. You must be polite to cops. The reason is that it is only to your advantage to be nice and polite to cops. And it is only to your disadvantage to be rude to cops. So do not do that. If you want to be rude to cops, become a criminal defense attorney, cross-examine them, and make them look stupid on the witness stand. But do not be rude to cops. And on this note, one thing that surprises a lot of people, and actually I think it surprised me when I was a law student and I found this out, is that you cannot resist an arrest, even an illegal arrest. I don't know. It makes sense to me now. It seems like, well, yeah, of course you can't now that I've been doing this for almost 10 years and actually longer than that if you count the time that I worked as a law student on these cases under somebody else's license when I first heard this. But you cannot, so let's say that I just walk outside right now, right? I just go out my front door, I start walking down the street, and a cop comes and he tackles me and he handcuffs me, and I'm like, what? I would want to be like, so I wouldn't say any of that. I would zip all of that, right? But I also can't flail around and move my arms and say, no, get the fuck off of me, and elbow him like I'm sure I would like to do. Doing so is actually illegal. And the fact that the arrest was illegal in the first place is not a defense to resisting arrest. So not only we're polite to them, we do not elbow them like I would like to do if someone tackled me to the ground like that. It is not a defense. Keep all of that in mind. You may have a civil rights lawsuit, right? Like if he slams me to the ground, he scrapes up my face, he ruins my shirt, whatever. Okay, sure. I have a civil rights lawsuit. I'm probably entitled to some money for that. Well, maybe entitled to some money for that. But that does not negate the fact that I resisted arrest and am guilty of perhaps felony resisting arrest. What if I give him a black eye with my elbow? Now we have a GBI, great bodily injury allegation. Perhaps now it's a strike offense under the California 3 Strikes Law. So be polite to cops, right? Some cop pulls you over, whatever it may be polite to them. Whatever they do, be polite to them, okay? And number 3 is no one is above the law. So I don't care what happens, but I would tell my kid is just because your mom is a criminal defense attorney doesn't mean you can do what you want, right? It does not mean that you are above the law. It does not mean that, perhaps you research what is self-defense and you think, you know what, maybe if I can get that bully to punch me in the face, then I'll be able to punch him back because it is criminal. It is not a crime. It is self-defense. Maybe, But one thing that I've learned as a criminal defense attorney, especially about things like self-defense, is that if the cops arrest you, self-defense is how you say you are not guilty. You may be in jail awaiting trial for a long, long time until maybe a jury agrees with you that it was self-defense. So don't think, you can research the law. Don't think that you know a bunch about the laws. You can do whatever you want. I certainly don't feel like that. And I definitely would not want my kids to feel like that either. So I hope that this video was helpful. If you do have an active criminal case in Los Angeles and Orange County, feel free to give me a call, or you can book a consultation down below.